Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Stop your slow clap. Why are you from Texas now?
Because I got to choose my stop.
How's that for high energy?
That's false advertising. No.
Oh, come on. Does every actor that portrays a cop in a movie have to wear a fedora?
You heard it here, folks. Mike Field is dead inside.
I'm actually trying to figure out who Brooklyn Decker's married to.
Nice.
What?
She doesn't say it like
She does say it like that.
She doesn't say
It's
it like
stupid.
that. Cowards. Cowards is what they're called, Mike. They're called cowards.
Hello, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it's because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the movie simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, please feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast now.
Rango.
Shut up and get to the synopsis. Just shut up and get to the synopsis.
Rango is a pet chameleon always on the lookout for action and adventure, except the fake kind, where he directs it and acts in it. After a car accident, he winds up in an old western town called Dirt. What this town needs the most is water, but they also need a hero and a sheriff. The thirsty Rango instantly takes on the role of both and selfishly agrees to take on the case of their missing water. By Napier Slugs.
Interesting.
I like that name.
They call me Slugs. Napier Slugs. Rango has a runtime of 107 minutes. It's rated PG. Production budget of $135 million. Released on March 4th, 2011. That was a Friday. It was raining that day. No, opening weekend. Opening weekend, it did 38 million. Domestic total, it did 123 million. Worldwide, 245 million. So it was a hit, Butler.
Woo!
Another, there we go again. More Ric Flair with you. Production company, several production companies at Paramount Pictures, Nickelodeon Movies, Blind Wink Productions, which is Gore Verbinski. We'll get into Gore Verbinski. GK Films, which is Graham King, and then Industrial Light and Magic, distributed by Paramount Pictures. So on March 4th, it was released up against a movie that we just did, The Adjustment Bureau, right? Yes, that just came out.
We did.
And also Adjustment Bureau, Take Me Home Tonight, which I like. I think we should put on the list, and Beastly. And then on the 5th, you had a limited release of Red State, the Kevin Smith horror movie. That's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, I never saw it. I wanted to, but I didn't catch it.
I haven't seen it either. And then someone told me I should see it. And then I was just like, okay. And then I have yet to see
And
it.
then you saw Walrus and you were like, nah.
I did not see Walrus. I saw the trailer for Walrus and I was like, can you just do Clerks 3? March 11th, you had Battle Los Angeles, Mars Needs Moms, and then Red Riding Hood. Mars Needs Moms is the competition here for Rango, since Rango's a kid's movie. The week before, which was the 25th of February, you had Hall Pass and Drive Angry. When I saw Hall Pass, I was like, it's not bad. But the more I think about Hall Pass, I'm just like, that movie's just no. Not that, no. No. Just a no.
No?
Just a no.
You don't want a hall pass?
No, that's stupid. That whole idea is dumb. Anyways, directed by Gore Verbinski. Verbinski has done all three of the first Pirates movies, not the fourth or fifth one. There five.
Forgettable last two, yes.
Yeah. He's done The Lone Ranger, which is an episode that we have done.
That's right.
He did The Weatherman, which I think we should put on the list. And he also has done The Ring, the original Ring, the remake of the Ringu movie. So anyways, screenplay and story was by John Logan. He was nominated for an Oscar for Gladiator, The Aviator, and Hugo. He also has written Bats. And then Butler, Star Trek Nemesis.
Which
I know you love that. Oh.
And he was real proud of the fact that he wasn't a big Star Trek guy. Or no, the director wasn't.
Yeah, it's not
so
good.
He wrote this movie going, oh, this is going to be great. And then the director was like, yeah, but I don't like Star Trek. So I'm going to purposely make a movie for people that don't like Star Trek.
Great. Well, he had a young Tom Hardy as a young Jean-Luc Picard clone.
It drove Tom Hardy to drugs.
Okay.
That's how bad Star Trek
Fun
is.
fact. All right. Logan has also written Alien Covenant, Skyfall, and Butler's favorite, Spectre.
I like Skyfall.
Verbinski is credited with the story. He has done, he wrote Cure for Wellness for those out there who's keeping track.
I've never seen that one.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you like it?
Cure for Wellness?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a little long. But the idea of it is interesting. It's just, it's a horror. It's like a horror. It's a horror drama. It's all right. I mean, it's just, I would say watch it. It's not a waste of time. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Also at the story credit is James Ward Burkett. He's the storyboard artist for Baby Driver, and I believe he was also a storyboard artist for the first three Pirates, which makes sense since it's an animated movie that he would get a story credit because he's probably writing up the storyboards for him as they're going along.
It's a big part of it. Yeah.
Cinematography, which I guess you can count that, is probably just him standing in a room going, yes, you should do it like that, is Roger Deakins, who has won the Oscar for 1917, Blade Runner 2049. He was also nominated for Shawshank Redemption, Fargo, Kundun, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The Man Was There, most Coen Brother movies. he's nominated for quite a bit. Deakins is a very, very famous cinematographer.
I think in terms of a movie like this with Rango, they've probably got the sets pre-built. They can probably do time of day, and then he can probably tell them where to put lights and where to put the camera.
This is what it would look like. This is what I want it to look like.
Take the camera, put it here. They have the action already playing out like a video game. You move the camera around. Would be how I guess you do it.
I hear you. Composed by Hans Zimmer. He won the Oscar for The Lion King. He's nominated for Dunkirk, Interstellar, Inception, and the new Sherlock Holmes movie. He's also been nominated for a bunch of stuff, which I think I brought up before. 11 nods and 1 win. Produced by John P. Carls, Graham King, and Verbinski. I already told you about Verbinski and King's production company. King has won the Oscar for producing The Departed. He's also did The Town, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Blood Diamond. Carls has done Open Season, I believe all of them, and Queen of Katwe. And then obviously Verbinski pretty much produces the movies that he does, which I've already mentioned. Edited by Craig Wood, who has done The Mexican, The Road, Tomorrowland, an episode we did Butler. Mexican might be good for us. That might be a forgotten cinema.
Probably, yeah. I think so.
He also has edited the Budweiser commercial with the frogs, for those people out there who remember those.
Yeah.
All right, so our cast is Johnny Depp as Rango. Depp was nominated for an Oscar for Sweeney Todd, Finding Neverland, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Isla Fisher as Beans. She's in Wedding Crashers, Confessions of a Shopaholic, and Tag, another one that we want to put on the list. Abigail Breslin as Priscilla, who's nominated for an Oscar for Little Miss Sunshine, and she's also in the 2 Zombieland movies and Nim's Island. Ned Beatty as the Mayor, nominated for an Oscar for Network. He's also in Deliverance, if you know what I'm referring to. He's also famous for that scene. And Superman, and that's right. I forgot about Superman.
Just a little.
How did I forget about Otis?
Just Otisburg.
Otisburg. And he's also he plays Lotso in Toy Story 3. Lotso's a bad guy. Alfred Molina as Roadkill. He's in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Adios, Oviedo. Spider-Man 2, Chocolat. Magnolia. That's actually Spider-Man 2 and Chocolat. That's not Spider-Man 2 : Chocolat. That'd be a weird movie. Although I'd watch it. Magnolia and Frida. He's also in. I also bring also in Boogie Nights. He's in one of my favorite scenes of Boogie Nights when they're trying to sell the coke to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, when he's talking to the boys like that, he's Chinese and he's throwing the firecrackers. Anyways, Bill Nighy as Rattlesnake Jake. He's from Love Actually, Underworld, Shaun of the Dead, and The Girl in the Cafe. Stephen Root as Doc/Merrimack and Mr. Snuggles. I guess he's in 3 different roles. He's from TV's News Radio, Jimmy James, The Man So Nice to Name Them Twice, Office Space, Dodgeball, Perry Mason, the TV show, actually the new one that's out that I just started watching. And then you have Harry Dean Stanton, plays Balthazar. He was an Alien, the original Alien, not the 85 that have come after. Big Love, the TV show Big Love. Cool Hand Luke and Escape from New York. Harry Dean Stanton passed away 3 years ago, 2017. Rest in peace. Timothy Olyphant as the Spirit of the West, which is basically supposed to be Clint Eastwood. Yep. He's in the TV show Deadwood, TV show Justified, The Girl Next Door, and the movie Go, which is another one we did for our season 5.
So many throwbacks.
Right? Ray Winstone as Bad Bill. He's in The Departed, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and Sexy Beast. And then Vincent Kartheiser as Ezekiel/Lasso Rodent. He was in the TV show Angel. He played Angel's son. He was in the TV show Mad. Pete Campbell from Mad Men. He's an alpha, and he's also in Time. So Butler, you recommended this movie.
Yeah, do you need a drink of water after you listed all
you
the
like
categories?
That? You like that? I was fast too. I was like, yeah, I was like that fast guy on Micro Machines. I just lost probably some of their audience there. So here's the thing. I'm gonna be straightforward with everyone here. I don't like this movie. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a bad person.
That's clear.
I wouldn't go so far as say I hate it. I'm not gonna say I hate it because I'm sure I can find stuff that was okay. There's just nothing in this movie that I have any kind of emotion towards. I just don't care. And I know that you hate when I say that, but I just don't like this movie, Butler. So tell me why I should like this movie.
I think this movie is
Tell me why I'm wrong, I should say.
The animation in this movie, first off, is incredible. And even if you watch it today, it's still amazingly detailed, and it's got grounded in this realism. It's got this darkness that you don't find in most kids animated movies, and it's got so much interesting comedy. It's got comedy that almost entirely goes over kids' heads. I can't say it's not meant for kids, but at the same time, it's definitely meant for adults to watch it like hand in hand with kids in terms of the comedy. It's not something like like a Pixar film. Every once in a while, we'll throw something out for the adults. This is something that I think is like equal measures. All right, kids and adults can watch this movie and each get their own thing out of it. I think the story is interesting. I think the character of Rango is, I love the character of Rango, and even the other characters. And I just think the comedy is really good in the way it looks and is lit, and the story. I just really enjoy this movie, and I don't get why you didn't. And I put this on this film because I knew you hadn't seen it, and I was so like, Feel's gonna freaking love this movie. I'm gonna put this on here. He's gonna really like this one. This is gonna be a good pick for our, we try to do like one kids movie a season.
Sure.
And he's gonna fucking love this movie, man. This is gonna be it.
Well, okay. Well, maybe this is why. And you mentioned it. You mentioned it briefly. You said like this is a movie for both adults and kids,
right?
And that's fine. See, I don't get that. What I get is that they tried to do both, and it just made it like this thing that's down the middle, that it's neither. I don't think it's neither for children or it's for adults. Like I think it doesn't commit either way, which is probably why it loses me. You know what I'm saying? Like okay. I understand what you're saying about Pixar, like Inside Out. I talked about Inside Out before, where you watch that movie and there's things in that movie that you're emotional, but you really don't get emotional unless you're a parent, because you understand what they're saying there.
Right.
I don't think that's the same as where they're trying to appease both adults and kids. Like I can see like if Verbinski said something like, "This is we're doing," he pitches Rango,
right,
and he pitches it like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is not for kids, which is the Wes Anderson kind of like Isle of Dogs kind of thing, which is those aren't for kids.
It's rated PG.
I understand that. I get that, but it's not. They're not for kids. Mr.
Right.
Fox is PG-13 or R, I think. They're knifing people in that movie. All right, whatever. Anyways, so maybe he like pitched that, and then like Nickelodeon's like, okay, that's great, but like we're Nickelodeon, so like it's got to have some like kid stuff in there, and then like, well, we'll have the chase scene, we'll do this. Oh, okay, that's great. The kids will love that. But like I feel like it's all lip service both ways, and maybe I just can't find something to latch onto to love this movie like you love it. I'm not knocking the animation, and
right.
And I'm not suggesting this to people. People like Rango, that's fine. It's just not a movie that I would really watch again. Like there's got to be movies that that people are like, oh my god, this movie's so great, and you're just like, it's okay. I'm not gonna ever watch it again, but all right. There's not movies like that for you.
I mean, I think within every movie, there's always something that I would, even if I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah.
There's always some stuff I like or some stuff I don't like. I never have like no opinion whatsoever.
I don't say I don't have no opinion. I just told you my opinion.
You now gave me your opinion.
No.
And I will cut this out. But you gave me an opinion the first time
because
I felt nothing.
Listen, if you're going to throw stuff like that back in my face,
that's what
you wanted this. You wanted this.
And this is what I'm getting at. I appreciate this.
Sure.
The first time was just
fine.
That you gave me.
Then let's go.
That was nothing.
Well, I think maybe this movie also maybe highlights our difference in ages.
It's
in
possible,
terms of
what's funny,
what works. How we experienced it at what age. Like, so Rango's 2011. So quick math. I'm 34.
Okay. I'm just out of college.
Yeah.
I'm 20.
So
I don't know.
There's different sentimentalities. It's a difference.
If you're 34, I'm 22.
Okay. There's just different sentimentalities in terms of like how you're experiencing the world. You're 22. I mean, but like, it's almost like your emotional age is probably a little younger. I think for men it is.
Probably.
It usually is. That's
I'm still like 5, man.
Okay.
Woo!
Christ. How many Ric Flair woos are we gonna get this episode?
I don't know. Now that you pointed it out,
it's a cliche. now when you tell me I gotta cut out all your uhs and I'm gonna be like, well, cut out all your woos.
78 woos.
I just hope when you're editing now and you're just kind of like, oh, woos, why did I do that? Come on. And Lisa's yelling, what's wrong with you? I was wooing everywhere.
I have to take a break.
I'm wooing on cracking one open. I'm wooing on 2 player bros.
I do woo a lot on crack. I don't think I'm wooing.
Man. Don't ever get famous because the impressionists know what to do now. The woos.
So anyway, I was with Mike Butler. And he just goes out my own, and he's like, woo. Oh.
So I feel like maybe this movie, like I said, highlights our differences.
Sure.
Which is not bad. It's just we do, we experience movies different ways. That's fine.
So you didn't laugh at any of the comedy bits? In terms of like when he goes in the jar and he's with the frog.
When he's running in the jar.
And he runs in the jar.
Yeah, that's fine. I was okay. I was okay with that. It was funny. Yeah.
When he's did you like the bar scene?
When he's telling the story?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little long and I kind of got bored of it.
I think that might be my one knock on the movie is that I think the whole movie could be an hour and a half. It doesn't need to be 147.
I will say this, that I think kids movies, I think horror films, and I think to some extent comedies all need to be 90 minutes. You want to go to 100, fine, but I'm sorry, but you need to be short.
Classic Verbinski, always going a little over.
Well, here's the thing, and for a variety of reasons, because we can handle 90 minutes of storytelling, and it makes you cut your story down to what you absolutely need in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying dramas. I'm not saying like big action movies or something like that, but we're talking like 3 different genres. It forces you to be efficient, and it forces you to be a great storyteller. But especially with kids movies, I mean, I have kids, and they're not going to sit in a film for 2 hours. They're running around. They don't want to be there. You even if you like the movie as an adult, you're like, oh, I want to watch this. The kids are running. Like, come on, let's go. And I remember the first movie we went to was The Lorax, and I can't remember how long The Lorax was, but we tried to go with all 3 of them, and it was like, it was a disaster. We just we're like, let's just go. Let's just get out of here and leave, because it was just, we couldn't do it. It's just, and then we're like, we're never coming back again. But I think. So yes. So to that point, I think a 90-minute movie, maybe I feel a little different about this, because it's just draggy for me, and it might not even draggy like, oh my god, these 15 minutes thick, but maybe it's just a minute, maybe it's 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes too long, kind of thing,
Yeah.
Right. So you had a problem with that scene?
Not that scene. I didn't think that scene was that long. I love that scene, but
okay.
I think there are certain moments of what's the word? Like I always bring this up, the self-indulgence.
Okay.
That you see in movies. Sometimes it's an actor's self-indulgence. Sometimes it's a director's or an editor's, or the music is just way too much at some points. Oftentimes it's the director, and then in the editing room not knowing where to cut his film. And I think there are some parts, like in the moments where all of a sudden you see all those shots of the desert and he's looking out and the cactus changes, and then it eats the frog or whatever, and you go through the sunset and the sunrise. It all looks beautiful, and it's definitely showing off the technology, which I think they only used one more time after this. I'd have to go back into my notes, but I think they only used the technology a couple more times. It's an amazing looking film, yes, and I definitely appreciate the visuals. But watching it the second time, I was like, "But I've seen this shot of the sunset's great, but you don't really need it."
Yeah,
and I think if they cut that down, because I think they do it twice in the film, cut down some of this desert shots and all those. It's like, I get it, it's an expansive world, but let's tone it down.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff with maybe the conversation with the mayor as well.
When he goes to the office and he talks about the water.
The office, and then when he's on the golf range.
Right. Okay.
Although I do like when he's on the golf range, because Rango's always shown as this kind of doofy character, as this he's a fish out of water, but he's not shown as an idiot. He doesn't want to be the sheriff, but he's not bad at his job, which I really like when he goes to the mayor on the golf course and he basically knows, I think you had something to do with this.
Right.
And basically accuses the mayor. I really like that scene because of how smart Rango is. And the mayor's like, oh man, he's a coward, but he's not an idiot.
Right.
And I think we might have made a mistake making him sheriff.
Okay.
And that's when they get Bill, obviously.
Oh, well, what was his name again? Rattlesnake Bill?
Rattlesnake Bill.
Was it?
Rattlesnake Jake.
Rattlesnake Jake. Yeah. Well, Bill Nighy. Okay.
That's when he goes, well, we need to get Jake.
Right.
Rattlesnake Jake. And he brings him up.
And he wasn't around because of the bird that
he was afraid of the bird.
Right. Which is very, I think we've talked about this before. It's very a Bug's Life, that idea, which is fine. That's not a knock. It's just, it's similar.
Little
it makes sense.
Stuff, yeah.
Creatures are afraid. That makes sense. But is it a hawk? A vulture?
It's a hawk with that metal beak, which I really like. Gives
Right.
him a southern western flair.
Right. I did like the double molting. I thought that was funny.
Oh, when he gets freaked out.
Yeah, when he molts twice, or because he gets hot. No, when he gets out of the car and it gets super hot. And
he's not used to that. He's used to air conditioners. And stuff like that,
yeah.
Which I love the beginning scene. I love him setting up his actors and him basically telling you the plot of this film.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have drama. You gotta have emotion. You gotta have this. There's gotta be a twist at the end. And it's like he's basically setting up
what you're gonna watch.
Set points to the plot.
That's it. Conflict. Victor, you were right. I have been undefined. People, I've had an epiphany. The hero cannot exist in a vacuum. What our story needs is an ironic, unexpected event that will propel the hero into conflict.
So is that why the armadillo doesn't die? Is that the
armadillo's on this immortal quest?
But he got run over.
So armadillos always get run over apparently.
They just pop right back.
I don't know. I like the armadillo. He is very weird, but I like that. I'll see you again at the end. I love that. I think that's really weird, but that's what I think I liked about this movie as well, is the weirdness, that just complete absurdity. I really appreciate that kind of look at the film. And I like that Rango is this, even though he's a chameleon, he's this actor who's quote unquote a chameleon.
Right.
And he's out in the world trying to pretend to be something he's not.
Right.
And try to get into the role. I think that's really interesting. And that's maybe self-indulgent of me.
Are you laughing because of the commercial?
I am like, yeah, now I am. A commercial about me being the chameleon.
But that was like for a different movie. It was just funny. Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Damn it, we used it for the wrong movie.
But I do really like that. I think I like the character of Rango. I don't know if the other characters are quite as good. Beans is funny in that she stops and she has her
well,
moments.
What is that? What is that whole tick thing that she stops and freezes? Is that something to do with her animal?
What kind of animal is she?
I don't know.
Because some of these animals are so bizarre and so weird that I can't tell what they are. I would say a lot of them are weasels.
Maybe is she a weasel?
Beans? She's definitely a lizard. But what kind of lizard? I
oh, right. Okay. All right. I didn't get that part. I like the I thought the yodeling that they used during the chase, where when Rango first shows up and he kills the hawk accidentally, and they use that yodeling. So I thought that was very, very Arizona-like. I don't know if that was on purpose or they just kind of, I don't know.
I think that's why I thought you might like the movie. There's a lot of,
because of that one yodeling scene.
There's a lot of homage to other westerns and other kind of southern kind of deserty films in this.
There's a Fear and Loathing reference in this movie.
Well, there's a little like homage to it. Yeah, I don't know. I think some of the trippy desert stuff is definitely Fear and Loathing. But yeah, you actually see his Hunter S. Thompson character when he goes flying out of his car.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of the whole thing I just talked about before, which was pick a lane kind of thing. Kids are kids. I think that really just kind of shadows, or I shouldn't say shadows, but shades the entire movie for me. Mm-hmm. So even if there's stuff in the movie like, oh, I like that, oh, I like that, I like that, it's still, I'm still have this thing in the back of my head where it's just like I can't connect to this movie. That's probably I probably already said that, but that's probably the best thing. Is like I cannot connect to this movie on any level to enjoy it or appreciate it like you can. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't have that. It could be the reason I said before about kids and adults and pick a lane and all that stuff. It could just be you brought it up where you've seen stuff like that before, like the sunset, and you talk about how maybe the homages are not homages in my opinion. They're more they're affecting me in terms of just not rip off, but like I've seen this, so it's just adds to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. I can't give you that answer. All I just know is that I had a tough time connecting to this movie like you did, and probably like 95% of the other people that listen to this podcast, and that's fine. 45
wins and 25 nominations.
That's what your show. Yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. Please. What film festivals?
Won one Oscar.
Yeah. Exactly.
For the animation.
Did it win animation?
Yeah. Best animated feature film.
No, was Pixar not nominated that year?
It's probably like
Check
Dinosaur.
Check it. I bet you it wasn't even nominated. It wasn't even a Pixar movie nominated that year. I bet you probably didn't even make one. They were like, we're gonna opt out. You can have it, Rango. Or it was a bad Pixar movie. Was it Planes?
Good Dinosaur.
Was it Planes, Fire and Rescue?
Rango, A Cat in Paris, Chico and Rita, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Puss in Boots.
Yeah. So no Pixar movie. So that's why it won.
Even if
Let's be honest,
Pixar doesn't always deserve.
I agree. I agree, but they usually get it.
They do usually get it.
I think the last one was Dinosaur nominated.
Dinosaur was nominated. I don't know if it won.
No, it was nominated.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, God, why?
Because it's Pixar.
No, but that's fine. Congratulations on your animation award.
Congratulations on your pedestal, mother.
Asterisk.
Are you enjoying yourself there?
Asterisk. No Pixar movie was nominated.
It also won the Golden Globe, the BAFTA, the
How many
Saturn
times do I got to
Award,
tell you that nobody cares about the Golden Globes?
the EDA Award, the EDA Female Focus
really?
Award.
Really? It's great. That's great.
It won an Eddie,
Oh, an Eddie? Oh my God.
the American Cinema Editors Award, I guess.
Oh, congrats.
The Annie Awards. I'm just gonna keep going through.
The
I'm only
Annie Awards?
I'm only in the A's, man. I'm done. There's
Please
way
go
too
ahead. No,
many-
keep
there's
going.
way too
Keep
many
going. I
awards.
want to hear them all. I want to
You
hear
just
them
wanna
all.
ra- you
Oh, let's
just
hear the
wanna waste
losers. Let's hear the loser ones.
The Indiana Film Journalist Award,
Oh,
the Iowa Film Awards.
those are tough to win. That's some
Well,
stiff competition out there.
Won the Young Artist Award for who? Oh, Abigail Breslin for her voiceover.
Oh, come on. Come on. Really? Oh, come on. I mean, she's great in Little Miss Sunshine, but that's kind of like a Sundance Darling type nomination. That was when like you had those one movies that would come out of Sundance that everybody would talk about, and they would just anoint the Sundance Darling movie, and that's the movie that would get the big release. And it was kind of like a formulaic kind of thing, and hopefully they kind of turned away from that, if that. But that's usually what happens. I don't know how we got. I don't know how I went down that road. So well, go ahead.
Did you like the Owls?
Oh, the
Our chorus.
yeah,
quote,
or
kind of?
the kind of, what was the word I'm looking for? The unreliable chorus, unreliable narrator, because they pretty much lie to you
Yeah,
in
they
the
lie to
opening
you
of
at
the
the
thing.
end,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean they're fine. I mean they're there just to basically move the story along, so that doesn't
Right.
good job. But I don't know. I just I mean.
And you felt nothing for Rango himself.
Like, did I feel bad when he was left in the desert?
Well, like for his character, like you didn't have, like you say you don't connect to the film at all, but you also didn't connect to Rango at all or anything, his exploits. So I think that's the crux of the film. If you don't like Rango, I don't think you can like the film, because the rest of the town is so bizarre and gross that
might be accurate. The more accurate, the more I think about it. He's a quick talker. He's a fast talker. He's not. There's a bit of a disingenuous vibe I get from him.
Mhm.
So I can't. But maybe because he's an actor and he's a thespian, like you're talking about. Maybe he's kind of like he's lying to them. But that's in all these type of movies where like somebody always like the main character's lying to somebody about who they really are, and then they kind of start to fall in love or kind of love the town. I'm trying to remember a movie where like it's in the back of my head where the guy comes to town and like Harold Hill from Music Man kind of thing. He's lying to them. He's a shyster. He's putting them on.
the monorail.
That's a different show. And then he's so that kind of idea.
Right.
It's just Harold Hill on that and on other people, like there's boxes that they tick off in terms of like as you're watching the story where like he endears you to him. So I don't think Rango does that. I don't think, or does it not enough for me?
Okay.
Where it's kind of like, oh, I want him to succeed. Maybe it's kind of, I see it coming. Like that kind of thing. Maybe it's like I've seen it before. I don't know. It's just like I said, I know how I feel. I just don't know why I feel it.
Right.
Certain things. Like I said, I know there's no connection there. I don't know necessarily what it could be. And probably have to watch it again. I'd probably have to sit down and be like, why don't I like this movie? Really like get into it. Like, well, we talk about whether it's for kids or adults and stuff like that. Did you get the thespian joke in there? The thespian/lesbian joke in there?
I probably did. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you like that?
Nah.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's
Maybe in 2011 I did.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying whether, I'm not here to judge whether it's in bad taste or not.
Right.
And it's really not. It's more of like he's confused and he doesn't understand
Right, yeah.
what he's saying. But it's a joke that doesn't play. The kids don't get that. And if the adults get it, okay, good for you. But it's really not that. I don't think it fits. I just don't think it fits. And maybe there's more of that in the movie, like the big boob toad. Like the and like that stuff like that. Like I just don't think it fits. And I'm not saying it in terms of somebody who's like a parent going, I don't want my kids to be exposed to that. No, I don't mean it like that.
Our kids can't watch big boob
Yeah,
toads.
God.
Not in this
can't make
house.
jokes like that. I just don't think it necessarily just fits within the movie. I'm okay if stuff like that's in the movie where it's a little risque, but it's gotta work. And if it doesn't work, then it stands out. And I think that stands out.
All right.
Oh, that's all you give me? What is that? What is that? I'm giving you.
I get you.
I'm breaking it down. All right.
And you're saying you don't feel it. I can't say anything.
I loved
You're
it,
wrong.
Mike.
You should have felt something.
I loved it. Well, why do you like it so much? Oh, you told me that already. Why you like it so much?
Again, I think the character of Rango is great in the world. And...
Do you? I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I already said it. So go ahead.
Do you think 10-year-old Mike likes this movie as much as 22-year-old Mike does when he watches it?
Yeah, 10-year-old Mike was weird. I think he would have liked this.
Really?
Movie. I think he would have liked the darkness of the characters. I think he would have liked the animation. I think he would have liked Rango. I think he would have thought Rango's personality and quirkiness was very funny.
I don't know a lot of kids that like want to watch Rango. Now, I'm not referencing my kids, but like,
how many kids do you know, Phil?
A lot of kids. That's weird. But like, I just don't know. Like, that's not a movie. For example, like when we bring back old movies,
right?
Don't bring back Rango.
Well, that's why I put it on the forgotten cinema list, Mike.
Well, maybe it should stay forgotten.
I think Rango is very unique. I think Rango is very different. I think it's forgotten because I think some parents, like you said, it's inappropriate. Or
you think okay, all right.
I think that it doesn't tick the boxes of a Pixar movie. But I think Pixar movies, you watch them and they're fantastic, great films.
Even Planes, Fire and Rescue,
except for Planes and Cars,
and Monsters University,
great films, and Good Dinosaurs and Monsters U. And I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet.
What? It's not.
And it's so perfect. It's tough.
You're right. No, I agree, but it's still a good movie.
I'll get there. But you watch these films and they're great, but you know where they're going and you know what they are going to be about, and you know the themes of the film because they're almost very, very often very similar themes.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch a film like Rango, or we did Monster House the other year. It's like these films are great and they have this darkness to them and this otherness to them that aren't the same as a Pixar movie or a DreamWorks movie that really wishes it was a Pixar movie.
But see, I'm glad you brought that up. A movie like Monster House, a movie like The House with a Clock in Its Walls, a movie that's scary, but that has scary elements for kids, that's different than a movie that Rango is not like that. Rango is diving into adult dialogue and heady concepts that kids don't get. And it's not where they're scared, but they just are confused. And I think it causes some confusion in terms of like a connection to that. Whereas in Monster House, like the house is scary.
Right.
So kids know I'm scared of that house and wants to eat me. The house is not talking about, it's not doing a joke about whatever. It's not doing like a Long Fear and Loathing reference or something like that. It's not doing, you know what I mean? It's not crying. It's not doing like references that you don't get unless you're 15, 16.
But I think that the story itself, a kid can get that there's no water, that Rango's a fish out of water, and I guess.
Sure.
And a chameleon out of water.
Ooh.
Because it's got no water. But
great.
like there's scenes like here where he talks to the Weasley, he's going to write him a ticket for prospecting. The Weasleys are going to steal that water. Even the kids would know that.
Right.
And there's certain Looney Tunes type bits that I think they'd enjoy. And I think the overall story makes sense to even a kid.
Well, what about, now I get it with them all being character animals.
Right.
But then you have him meeting the spirit of the West, which is Clint Eastwood.
Right.
How are kids going to want to get into that?
I think he's just a spirit. I think the fact that he's Clint Eastwood is just for us.
I got you.
He's a cowboy who Rango has been trying to pretend to be the whole movie. I think that's what kids get out of that. And adults get out of it. Oh, he's an actor on set.
See, I think we should have had a kid watch this. I should have one of my kids watch this. And we should have found out how they feel, because right now we're
coming at two adults who watch it as adults.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that maybe I need to hear what a kid would say in terms of watching this movie. And maybe that'll help me figure out why exactly I don't connect with it. Yeah. And the stuff I've said might be part of it, but I think that we're too old for it to understand. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because when we do kids movies or when I watch kids movies, there's some things you're just like, ugh, that's kind of corny. But in the back of your head, you're like, well, that's for kids.
Right. Yeah.
And you let it go. But I don't get that feeling with Rango at all.
That's why I like it. But see, if I was watching this as a kid, the one thing because I watched a lot of adult things as a kid as well, I would love that they don't pander to me. I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action movie because it is not made for a kid, but it's a kid's movie.
Mhm.
It is absolutely made so that dorky teenagers and nerdy 30-year-olds and even me today, nerdy 30-year-old 30 years later,
Yeah.
can still enjoy it. But I loved that, and I would love that about Rango. I hate being pandered to as a kid, and I still like things like Nickelodeon. I like Rugrats. I liked Ren and Stimpy, but I think today it's all SpongeBob and just silly jokes and just.
But SpongeBob's funny.
I'm not a huge SpongeBob guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just beating you over the head with dumb. Just dumb, and not appreciating that kids can understand things. Like kids are smart, especially today.
I will say this about SpongeBob. I never got into SpongeBob, obviously, when I was like a teenager or when I was, because I wasn't a kid when I was a teenager.
I was
so
also like 1 year too old for SpongeBob.
I ended up watching it a lot because of the kids.
Right.
And now you just sit there and you're just like, it's funny. Like you get
Yeah,
into
I
it. So
get you.
that might be something that you have yet to experience if it's in your future. But
SpongeBob is in my future.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to imply that you should have kids. I'm saying if you ever do
Right.
decide that, maybe that'll come around on you. and
Sure,
you'll see
maybe,
that.
yeah.
But I hear you and I got you. Because I think SpongeBob was too late for me. So
I never really gave it a chance, but I just know
I
it's
understand.
absurd and silly.
It's not bad. It's just-
But yeah, I think that's probably why it's forgotten. It's like people want Pixar in their films, and I get it. Pixar's great. People want SpongeBob and silliness for their kids, but I think there's a place for kids to watch something like Rango and enjoy it. I think that some kids would enjoy Rango.
All right, well, give me. I know you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that's live action. Give me other animated movies that fit this bill. Then it doesn't have to be today's. It could be older ones.
Page Master.
That's
which is
not.
something-
Is that animated?
That's
Oh,
animated.
you're right. You're right.
That's something I've been wanting to put on the list for a while. I don't know if you'd ever be able to find it.
Isn't that Disney?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
There was
That's when Macaulay Culkin goes into the book,
the
right?
library and the
yeah.
store. and he goes
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
book. I think Rescuers Down Under isn't necessarily the most kid friendly.
Okay.
Of movies, I think Rescuers is, but I think Rescuers Down Under has some adult themes, and the relationship between the two detective mice are definitely more of an adult kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Adventure of
the Halloween-
Tintin.
Tintin, yeah.
It's more of an adventure.
That's a modern thing, but yeah, but I think that was made to be. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I hear you.
There was a old cartoon movie called The Halloween Tree, which I think was made in the late 70s.
Yep.
Which is about Halloween, which is really creepy, and that I think is also something where it's kind of
That's animated.
adult themes. Yeah.
Okay.
Teach you about Halloween around the world, but in like a fantasy kind of way.
Right.
There are things out there that are kind of geared more toward adults.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ren and Stimpy.
I never got into Ren and Stimpy. Yeah.
But yeah. But I think there was stuff back then that works that you don't see today.
Right. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Like you said, I think it probably would have been a good idea to have a kid watch this and give their thoughts.
Yeah, no, that would have been hindsight's 2020,
Just
but
like a
that
brief sound
that
bite
would have
of, like,
helped
30
us.
seconds.
Yeah, that would have helped
Next
us.
kids movie.
Well, maybe we could also just have a kind of a throwback and toss it in there, or just kind of like have like a quick 20-minute one where we talk about it.
Yeah.
But forgotten. What were we going to call our spinoff?
Forgotten Junior.
Forgotten Junior. Forgotten Cinema Junior.
Yeah.
That would have been good. Still on the table. All right. So you're saying that. So those same thematic elements that you like, those same, the list of movies that you had is probably why it's forgotten, because it just, you know what I mean? That's what you're saying.
It's a movie at a time. I think that it's not Kid Elise, because I know she loves Rango. I think we would have really liked this movie, but kids now, I don't know. Maybe it's not for kids now. I mean, your kids might also have the same opinion, which is why you're shaded with more of a kid's mind than me, because you're closer to them than
Right.
I am to when I was a kid.
Right.
You can see what kids like now. So maybe that also shades it. My kids would hate this, but my kids would like this. Maybe that shades.
I don't know if they would hate it. I just don't think that they might not. Well, maybe my 8-year-old, soon to be 9, wouldn't just get it. Oh, he might though. He's old enough now. Maybe as they get older, they would get into some of the stuff. I mean, he just started getting into Big Hero 6, and I thought that would be scary for him with the Kabuki dude and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, he was fine with that, and he started watching the TV show. So he's all watching the Disney Plus show. So he's all into that.
Mhm.
My middle child's into anime, but not like the anime that's like inappropriate, like the kid anime, like stuff like like the Studio
Ghibli films
and stuff like that. Yeah. My oldest, she likes Frozen and stuff like that, but she doesn't really watch too many. She's 14, so now she's all into PG-13 movies where she wants to be. And can we watch this? And she's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, maybe like 5 years ago, I would think they wouldn't be into it. Maybe they'd be into some of the scenes, but they wouldn't kind of like all this, because he has a lot of dialogue. He's got a monologue, and I just think that would just bore them. Bored me sometimes, but I just think it would just they would lose interest, and that's not solely always in Rango. That's in other stuff too. So that's just not Rango's thing. Like, it's not like Rango's breaking new ground and boring people. It's been done already. You know. So I maybe that would just kind of like turn them off a little. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I got you.
So we've been talking about why you might not like this movie and exploring the depths of your psyche. I just want to point out that a fact about the movie's production, that they actually filmed this live action before they went into the animation stage, and all the actors were on set and stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's a very interesting way to perform your script, and to give the actors more control over their animated characters.
Yep. It's also the first animated feature produced by ILM, not like they actually physically put money up. It also is a public health hazard for Breathe California, because they regard this film as a public health hazard because there's 60 incidents of smoking in this movie. But one of the things that, and I kind of briefly went over it, the grosses. If you know, domestic was 123, worldwide was 245. It clearly did well overseas, and I broke down some of those numbers. So it did like 11 million in the UK, 10 in France, Italy 6, Spain 7, which was surprised. I thought that would do more. Mexico 10 million, that makes sense. Brazil 5, Australia 10, and Russia 11. So it had a big international opening,
right?
Which surprised me that there's no sequel, or there's no another Verbinski film. You know what I mean, animated wise,
right?
Because this made money in international dollars, albeit I understand we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, but let's pretend that we're not for a second. Our international dollars are even sometimes just as important or even more important than domestic dollars.
It is, yeah.
So I'm surprised that this doesn't get at least another look in terms of Rango 2, or they let Verbinski do another type of movie.
I think a Rango 2 would be super easy, because you can just take him and his weird actorness
and put him somewhere else.
Put him in a movie, give him another location where it's, a tiny little scaled down society, but it's like outer space, or make it sci-fi. You can bend the genre of movie you're spoofing to Rango's will.
You can expand the world,
right?
Yeah, no, that would work. That's fine.
But in terms of getting Johnny Depp back, in terms of getting Gore Verbinski back, in terms of getting Roger Deakins back, that's a lot of names you got to get back, and they all have to come together in one.
Wasn't Depp? What was the story I read, that he was begging people for a job because he couldn't get hired again? What was that? I read that somewhere.
He's got 4 more Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless of whether people want to boycott him, they're still going to go see him.
Well, I would think that animated movies would start making a comeback if the production is too expensive in terms of safety protocols.
Yeah, they could just do it the voiceovers.
Right, meet them in the booth. Yeah, you're separated. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing a lot more animated. So maybe we'll see Rango 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Fingers crossed.
So are we wrapping up?
I think we're wrapping up.
Okay, it's a short one, but it's fine. Is it a short ep?
It's a little less than average, but not.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
We're good.
Sweet.
We explored into the psyche of why you didn't like this movie.
The psyche, and there's nothing wrong with me.
You didn't like Rango.
So what?
I'm just kidding.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find us, so I can just sit here and coolly stare at you?
You can find my body at the end of the middle. You can find us on ForgottenCinema.com or ForgottenEntertainment.com, as we are part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Forgotten Cinema Pod. We post pretty much field posts every day. I'm not going to say I do or we do. It's all him.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it's great.
Commercials every Thursday. They're pretty fun.
He doesn't even share the posts. Go ahead. He shares them at 3 a.m. when everybody's online.
You want me to share them at 7?
I want you to share them when they need to be shared, not when you wake up in the afternoon and nobody's out there. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to go anymore.
Good. Your SEO sucks.
ForgottenCinema.com, ForgottenEntertainment.com, on the social medias. You can find us wherever our podcast is available. Rate, review, and subscribe. That helps us out a ton.
It does. And join us next week, as we're going to be going to the 90s. Is it 90s? Whatever. The Trigger Effect, written
It's
and
the
directed by
90s.
David Koepp. It is the 90s.
This
starring-
is your movie, man.
It is my movie. I put it on the list. I'm pretty sure Butler doesn't like it, but what does he know? He liked Rango. Starring Kyle MacLachlan, Elizabeth Shue, and Dermot Mulroney. Join us for The Trigger Effect next week. I am Mike Fields.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema. Go ahead, do it. Do the woo.
Rango.
No.
Oh, you
I
want me
thought
to
you
do
were
my
gonna
Ric
the woo. I think, woo. Rango sucks.
Woo.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right, hombres. Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite. Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we braise him in clarified butter. And then we eat him.
You eat them?
That's what I said! Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function. You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah. Got a few extra aces in this deck, gents. Just the way I like it. So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts. You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised. You might say I'm what hell's already raised up. Name's Rango.